Hi, my name is Jim Pendree. I started with a company called Sunrider in 1985, and after a couple of years of being a consumer, I just fell in love with the company and the products. I decided to join them in business as an independent business owner. And it's the best thing I ever did by far. Traveled the world with them and helped a lot of people with their wellness and helped a lot of people with their careers. And now it's just such an exciting time for Sunrider. So I put together a few stories for you, career and wellness and kind of everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy them.
Well, I met you, Jim, at in probably about 1992 in Brandon at a trade fair. You were also happy. It's hard not to want to do whatever you're doing to be that happy. And Barb Cowie, then Curry, fed me my first Sunrider smoothie, February 1992. And I haven't been a day without Sunrider foods in my body since then. I'd been looking. I was a nurse. I knew what not to eat. I couldn't seem to find anything that would nourish me at a cell level so that I didn't have a symptom or two of things popping up in my body. I love the resilience of the foods. I use them all. I use the whole range of products. I know that what I put on my skin gets in my body, so I don't use anything but Sunrider foods on my skin, and I've done that since day one, at whatever level I could afford in the beginning. And so you just did what you could, and my favorites are always the beverages, but I don't like being without Beauty Pearl supplement. It's sort of a mainstay for me. I love um, the Vitafruit, the Evergreen. I love those too. Raspberry Fortune Delight's become my new favorite flavor. But I love the New Plus. It just, to me, a comfort food is a New Plus in a cup with Fortune Delight and some quinary thrown in and alpha 20C if it's, the seasons that you should be, ramping up your immune system. And it's just comfort food. Sun Care, squeeze of Sun Care and zzz, and it's just comfort food to me. No matter what you're facing in life, no matter what physical challenges, emotional, spiritual, Sunrider can help you with it. It'll just gracefully do what it can. And quinary is that find the problem and fix it food. And all the foods are wonderful for just helping you at any stage that you're at.
We love the way it tastes, love the way it makes us feel, right? What's your favorite thing, Marcy? What do you love about Sunrider? Do you love tea?
The mint tea.
The mint tea, the Cali mint tea. Marcy loves the Cali mint tea, and I think she also loves the Fortune Delight because we drink that nonstop in this house. Pretty good. Okay? It makes us all feel really good. I have the face wash and the lotion, and they both make my skin feel really good.
Am I?
We've been using the Sunrider products and sharing the income opportunity for over 30 years. The beverages, the products are all phenomenal. They've seen great benefits, especially Tricia with her long-term type 1 diabetes. One of the great benefits that I've had with Sunrider is to be able to retire from the federal government 10 years early. It's given me a lifestyle, or given us a lifestyle that we never dreamed possible. Even something as simple as Sunrider's liquid soap is such an amazing product. I've been using it for years, and every time I splash it on and I wash with it, it's like going to the spa. It's just an incredible product.
I still remember when our younger son was about 12 or 13, he was having a shower with the liquid soap, and he came up with it. He says, "Mom, this is such an amazing soap. Dr. Chen should make something like this." And I said, "Michael, Dr. Chen did make that liquid soap. We love it."
Hi. Well, lots of things. But generally speaking, I love how I can always rely on it to make me feel my best, whether I'm sick or I need a bit of a pick-me-up. I play a lot of sports, and so it's always there. It's always there to pick me up if I need a little bit of something more. A couple of my favorite products, absolutely, I would say, are the Lemon Fortune Delight, hot and cold, Quinary, as well as Sun Care, whether it's in tea or baking or sometimes just on top of peanut butter. And of course, the hand and body lotion, 100% use it all the time, face, body. And recently, actually, I've been using the youth emulsion, and it's been incredible. I've noticed differences in minor scarring that I've accumulated, and sun damage as well.
Hi there. I've been with Sunrider for over 20 years. I started with the Cali tea and fell in love with that. And after that, I started using the Candescent and Oil-In products, which were amazing. Continuing on, I ended up using some of the Quinary and other products to eat the foods and help me out. The main reason I've stayed with Sunrider is because of the quality. There isn't anything quite like it out there, and I really love the results. It's been great.
So I've been in a really loving relationship for over 20 years. We love each other dearly, and the name is Sunrider. 20 plus years, and I'm just as passionate and in love now as when I was at the beginning when I first tried it. And then it really got sealed when I had the opportunity to have lunch with the Chens, and there's not one product in Sunrider that I've tried, and I'm pretty sure I've tried them all, except Veros. But I've tried them all, and there isn't one that I would toss out. I have a healing center, and I recommend this to people because there's just nothing better.
I just would love to share my 30 years with Sunrider. And the one word that sums it up the best for me is freedom. So financial freedom, we were able to create a residual income and have a check in our bank account every single month, right from the very first month that we started. Physical freedom. At the age of 65, I feel so much healthier than I did at the age of 35, thanks to our life-changing products. And personal freedom, time. Like, I'm in control of my time. I choose when I work, I choose with who I work. And we built this business while I was at home, raising our 5 children. And that being able to put that family first was so important for me, and I'm so glad that I had that opportunity to do it.
I tried everything you could think of. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars. I spent tens of thousands of dollars, Jim, trying to get well, because you go to the health food store and they'd say, well, try this or try that, and it was literally, I was trying everything I could think of it, and I would stay with it pretty faithful for a couple months, and nothing. Just nothing. It wasn't working. Naturopathic doctors, acupuncture, reflexology, applied kinesiology, doctors, specialists, internists, and they all did the best they could for me, and I could feel a little bit, something a little bit better, but it never lasted. If you can't absorb the nutrition that you're eating, then you're not going to get better. So there's Karen, bless her. Oh my gosh. To this day, I'm so grateful to God for her. She didn't give up on me. And she said a couple things that really made a difference. She said, well, you've tried all the drugs and the medicines and the, isolates and the vitamins and everything you could think of. But have you tried food? And I was kind of angry. And I said, of course I've tried food. I said, we grow organic, we do all this work and we do all these things. And she goes, what about Chinese food? And I went, well, I like Chinese food. And I was thinking, chow mein and that kind of stuff. And then she goes, well, you know what? Dr. Chen, the owner of Sunrider, is just an absolute genius. And he's got these ancient formulas of foods that have been eaten century after century after century by people to maintain their health and to keep really vibrant health and for longevity, to live to a very old age and be healthy. And I thought, well, that's, we had quite a good conversation. And I said, well, I'll try those. And the rest is history. She started me on the very basics, quinary every single day, or some people call it quinary. I call it quinary. I think it's a Canadian thing. And New Plus. And she gave me a bag of Cali, and she gave me a package of Fortune Delight. The Fortune Delight, oh my goodness. And she told me to make it really, really weak. So I made it really, really weak. And I started drinking like that, 12 coffee maker worth of Fortune Delight every single day. And it really made a difference. But the thing that really made the difference was the New Plus. For some reason, I think my body was so starving for nutrition that it took that New Plus and just kind of sucked it in. And I felt so good when I was eating it. So I ate a lot of it. And I used to sometimes eat, like I had trouble digesting any other food. So sometimes I'd eat 8 scoops of New Plus in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the regeneration in my body was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But you know, Jim, there was things that I did along the way that really made a difference. I sent my hair away for a vitality analysis. Oh my gosh, I got that back, and it was so easy to follow. They looked at what my body needed, and they tested it against my hair and my, hair sample that I'd sent in, and they set out a program for me, and I was totally focused and really, really faithful to that program. I didn't cheat. I ate the foods, the Sunrider foods that they recommended on there, all of them. If they said you could have them once a day, I thought, no, I'm just not well enough to have them just once a day. I would have the maximum. If they said 1 to 3, I would have 3. Right? And I just stuck with it. I really, really stuck with it. I also did the 150 regular table foods. And it came back and, sort of specific things that I was having difficulty digesting at that time. And it would come back as a negative for those items. And I just left them off my food. And so by eating the foods that my body really could assimilate and digest at that time, and the support of the Sunrider foods, I just came alive. Do you know what happened to my life? I went from this, basically, I was a totally disabled person, to becoming totally enabled. And I was so excited. I was able to go back to work, and I was in management, and they'd kept my job for me over those years that I was so sick. And I went back to work, and I was just like bouncing. You couldn't hold me down. After 3 months back to work, I had a performance appraisal, and my boss said to me, he said, you're doing amazing in your job, but he said, you're just unseemingly happy. Do you think you can tone it down a little bit? And I looked at him and I went, I didn't say it, but I thought, you are out of your mind. I was almost dead, and I have come back to life, and there is no way anyone on this whole earth is going to steal my joy. I went back to my office and I quit my job, and I started doing Sunrider full time and reaching out and helping other people and caring for other people and bringing some hope back into their lives. Mm-hmm. Jim, everyone out there just needs some hope. Whether they need that, whether they want to be a customer and just get better for themselves, or whether they want to, actually get their foods paid for, or if they just, want to replace their income from work, like a couple $1,000s a month, or somebody wants to build a great big business. Sunrider's got just the most amazing products, company, compensation plan, everything all together. So how did my life change? Well, I've traveled the world. When you're sick, you can't even travel, right? I have literally traveled the world for the last 22 years, just had the most amazing time, sponsored people all over the world into Sunrider. Mm-hmm. I just feel that we have got something so incredible to share with other people.
And so I got started on some, a whole bunch of products actually right from the get-go, but Cali and Fortune and the Sun Bars and New Plus and the shakes, and I was using VitaTaste and Sun Trim. Is that what the one's called? Mm-hmm. And even without regularly taking the Sun Trim and that sort of thing, I lost weight. I started losing weight immediately, actually. So it took about 4 months and I was down 16 pounds. But I wasn't dieting at all. I think the other thing that really helped actually with products is I'm on the road a lot. I travel for my job. Food choices on the road are really terrible. 3-4 times a week probably. And I didn't have to do that anymore because it was so easy to just throw Sunrider in my bag and have it with me. So I have a shaker bottle that I got with my package when I signed up with Sunrider, and I fill that up partway with water, and I throw a New Plus and a VitaShake in my bag and a Sun Bar in my bag and a few Fortune Delight packages and my sun care, and I could go all day if I had to. But for sure, when I finish a meeting and I'm on the road back to Salmon Arm, I would always have to stop somewhere for something to eat because I'd be so hungry that I couldn't really even concentrate on driving. Now I just throw a Vita Shake in my shaker bottle and I have a Sunbar on the road and I'm perfectly good for another at least 3 hours. Fortune is my go-to all day long. I drink Fortune from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. The only time I really switch it up is if we're having tea after dinner, like when we're watching TV or something before we go to bed, then we make a pot of Cali. But
what flavor of Fortune?
I really like the lemon, and I really like the peach, actually, which you brought up at the April home show. And I hadn't tried the peach. I tried the raspberry, and it was pretty good. But I tried the peach at the home show. I was like, oh, yeah, I could probably live on this stuff. So I don't even make hot water anymore. I just make it in my shaker bottle with a bit of sun care. And that's just, I don't need pop. I don't need juice. I don't drink anything like that anymore.
So I want to just drill down on a couple of things. Just for the people that are going to watch this, just to be really clear for them, is what do you think actually made the difference? You're just more satisfied, I think, and your blood sugars are more balanced now because of the sun care. And you're drinking Fortune all day instead of negative things. I don't know if you were drinking coffee before.
No, I've never drank coffee. I don't like coffee. But I would definitely have, like, I drank water to some extent before. I would almost, most of the time I had a water bottle with me. But with a meal, especially if it was Wendy's, always had a Coke. Always, always. Like, I had a pretty heavy Coke addiction, Coca-Cola addiction. And I don't crave that stuff anymore. I find that I'm not craving Coke. I don't need to have a Coke. There was a time when if I opened the fridge and there was a can of Coke in there, I would actually salivate. I was completely addicted to Coke. And I don't find those kinds of cravings happen anymore. And my blood sugars are so even, it's mind-boggling. It used to be when I got hungry, I was really, really hungry. My stomach grumbling or cramping or whatever, that was a minor part of it. But my hands would shake and I'd be very irritable and I needed to eat right this second. And when it got like that, I would invariably turn to something that was sugary junk, either chocolate or a burger, because that's where I was on the road and I needed to eat immediately. And now I don't find that anymore. Sunrider is really low calorie with a really high pack of nutrients. So I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything, but I was definitely eating way less calories.
In the 90s, my health crashed pretty much totally. I had battled with chemical sensitivities for quite a few years, went on long-term disability from my teaching job. The only way that I could survive in anything other than our home environment was with this. And I had to wear it whenever I went out. You can appreciate that it's not only uncomfortable, but it makes it hard to communicate. Finally ended up with the top liver specialist in Vancouver, and he said, "There's nothing we can do for you." And he said, "Go home and learn to live in a bubble." But what he was really saying, and my own doctor confirmed this later, they didn't expect me to live. And we made do for a little while, kind of living like a hermit. And that was where we did a lot of learning. I found out that I had porphyria. It's a rare liver condition. It's genetic. And there's nothing that can be done about it as far as curing the porphyria. But Marlis was introduced to Sunrider, went out to a meeting with Rena, and we got into some foods and I started eating them, and life just started becoming nice again. Little bit by little bit over a period of 3 months, I came back to life. And it was just really exciting to see and to realize, yes, there's hope. And what I came to realize is that the porphyria sets a ceiling on how well I can live, how good my health can be. But I wasn't living anywhere near the ceiling. I was living down just about floor level. And what Sunrider allowed me to do was bring my body's level of functioning up much closer to that ceiling. And as a result, I've had 21 good years of life. Enjoyable years.
You know, we've been eating these foods for 20 years, and we feel that we are probably healthier now than we were 20 years ago. And we have aged 20 years. And still with the aging, we're still gaining ground. And they make a huge difference. You don't notice dramatic things happening unless you have a crisis. But generally speaking, you're getting the nutrition your body needs through these foods. And it does make a big difference in how you feel and how you age.
Well, thanks for taking the time to watch those. I hope you enjoyed the stories as much as I did interviewing them all and putting it all together. So if you have any questions, please get back to the person who shared this with you. And if that's me, you can reach me at jimpendree.com. And I'll gladly answer all your questions and help get started if that's what you wish. So have a fabulous day.